Let's see. Let's go down here.
You have run into it.
I'm getting so sick and tired of him. Now let's go up here. I've heard something interesting is going to happen here. And I'm going to wait until I see it. The Batmobile! It's the Batcave! Batman, what the hell are you doing in Kaliba?
Unless you are mistaken, the symbol above the cave entrance bears a striking similarity to a bat. A shiver runs down your spine as you look at it. It's almost as if some dark force were radiating from it.
We better save. And then we will try to go.
As you near the cave, the bat symbol above the entrance starts radiating an ominous black glow.
Why was I not thinking?
You saw black glow. You did not slow. Turned not away. You've had your day. As you near the cave, the bat symbol above the entrance starts radiating an ominous black glow. It is a human skull with a radiant blue stone wedged into its eye socket. As you face the skull towards the image of the bat above the cave, you notice that its wing has faded slightly. However, you suspect that whatever danger the bat represents is still in effect.
Looks like the alarm is still on.
The skull looks like it is designed to be pivoted on its stake. However, there appears to be something missing which prevents you from turning it.
Let's take a closer look on it.
It is a human skull with large eye sockets.
Like a blue crystal. Well, perhaps we can use this.
It is a slightly luminescent blue stone about the size of your palm.
Maybe we can use it.
As you attempt to place the birth gem into the skull, you discover that it does not fit properly. Instead, it juts out uselessly like a bulging eyeball. The birth gem protrudes from the skull like a bulging eyeball. You'll somehow need to push it in further.
Well, let's try and see what we can do with a mallet.
You gently tap the birth gem with the mallet, hoping not to break it. It budges only slightly. You give it a harder hit. It moves a bit more. You hold your breath and give the gem an almighty thwack. It pops into the skull. The rock pile. The birth gem is now fully inside this skull's eye socket. With the birth gem now firmly in place, you turn the leftmost skull so that it faces the bat symbol above the cave entrance. The power of the two skulls combined has caused the bat symbol to disappear. You sense whatever danger it represented has now subsided.
Fine, but I think we save it in case that we have Hagatha. Yes, just
as you enter, you are almost overwhelmed by the foul stench which molests your nostrils. It is obviously coming from whatever Hagatha is cooking in that large cauldron of hers. There are some things of interest on the other side of the cave, but you have no means of crossing over there safely at this time. A caged nightingale sits on the floor near the northern cave wall. The light from outside barely penetrates the interior of this cave. So long as you keep your distance, Hagatha shouldn't notice you. Being as quiet as a mouse, you slide your hand inside the cloak to discover a deep pocket. Amongst sticky and disgusting spell ingredients, you find a tiny silver key and a peculiar golden ring-shaped device. A simple but elegant black cloak hangs on a stand. This is the ugliest old lady you have ever seen. She has warts all over her face and matted gray hair. She clasps her stick with claw-like hands.
Even the witch in Daventry was more beautiful than her.
Upon attempting to lift the birdcage, you notice that it is attached to a thick chain and bound by a small lock. Obviously, you can't take the cage while it's still chained to the wall.
And if I do, then it will probably... And so...
You silently drop the cloth over the cage.
And now... we will see.
You slide the silver key into the lock. It fits. You turn it silently, and the chain falls to the ground.
Now,
without making a sound, you take the nightingale into your possession.
Let's get
the fluid of blood.
Ha! Gotcha.
Wearing the cage on your head.
Let's see.
You remove the cloth from the cage.
Let's see.
Looking at the bottom of the cage, you find that a letter has become stuck to it. You peel it off.
Now let's read.
You read the letter.
My dear sister, it has been a while since my last letter to you, and quite an age since we last spoke. Such are the busy lives we lead. I know of your preoccupation with eliminating your competition, and wish you well in that ongoing endeavor. As for my part, the servant I have owned for the past 17 years is soon to come of age. It'll be almost a shame to kill this one, for he is quite adept at his chores. But the tradition must be observed at all times. I shall require a replacement in the none too distant future. Perhaps I should think up a new name for my next slave, though it is that much easier when I need only remember one. I'll ask the father to notify me at once should he hear of any likely candidates. Speaking of which, though it is no way my place to question the will of the father, for surely the best interests of all his followers at heart. Does he not spend so much time locating that item of legend which he has been searching seeking for almost a millennium? While he's not to be second-guessed, I do wonder. Is he so assured of its existence that he is willingly to turn his attention away from his flock for so long a time? As for our remote brother, he seems increasingly interested in the ladies there. These days, I believe he has his eye on a royal couple who are expecting to conceive a girl within the year, or so the sign says. I must confess, if he is prepared to wait for so many long years for the child's maturity before adopting her, then he has far more patience than I. I await your reply, dear sister, and hope that this letter finds you well. If you have the chance for us to speak with the father, perhaps you will inquire of his commitment to this item he seeks. I would advise the utmost discretion, naturally. Your loyal and by far better sibling, M.
The letter puzzles you, but you put it away and continue your quest.
To those of you who knows that this is a new game, I will say that M is probably Manayan from King's Quest 3. Looks like it. But we must remember that this is supposed to come before King's Quest 4. King's Quest 3. So we don't care. Now let's see. We need to get the birth gem back. And we can do that by destroying that bastard.
You strike the skull with all your strength, and it shatters easily. The birth gem clatters to the ground, along with a multitude of bone fragments. You reacquire the birth gem.
Let's see. Now when we have the bird, we should get it back to Angelina. But that will happen in the next chapter.